Hello, beautiful people of the world. Welcome back. So, as before, you met Terry. One of my not so good fights, shall I say, but still my 100th kill. Anyway, now we're going to carry on with chapter 4. This one is called DC. So, sit back, relax, and enjoy. Done! Kevin shouts as him and Lukz stammer out the front door. What the bleeding hell happened to you? Don replies, lifting Lux's half-decapitated arm over his shoulder, spilling blood down his navy blue jacket. I got my 100th kill. That's what happened. Lukz replies as he tries to smile but ends up clinching in pain. Well, if I hadn't come in to save your ass, you would have been the one who was dead, Evan says, smiling at him. Lukz scowls back. Like I said before, I've never seen you harm those things, let alone kill one. So, I thank you for being the bait. He weeps, letting out a painstaking grin. Kevin's mouth partially gapes open. It was a direct hit, and you know it. Don halts them all, turning towards Kevin. Did you say a direct hit? He asks, confused. Yes, Kevin murmurs. Don shakes his head while looking up and down. What's up, Don? Kevin asks. He sharply looks back. Huh? Oh, never mind. For Christ's sake, let's get Lukz to a hospital so DC can sort him out. Wait, Kevin flips out his phone, scrolling through its screen. DC's working tonight, he asks anxiously. Yes, Don replies with a quizzical look on his face. Look at his arm. She needs to use more than hospital equipment, don't you think? Kevin says, pointing at Lux's flesh-seeping wound as it spills a pool of blood beneath them. Don nods. But there isn't enough time for them to get somewhere quiet. He's bleeding out, he says fearfully, pulling his blood-soaked hand away from Lux's arm. Ah, damn it. Okay, Kevin stutters. A pair of paramedics rush over with a stretcher. Kevin and Don gently place Lukz on it. They dart off, shoving him inside an ambulance. Lukz lays silent, barely conscious, dangling half off as they slam the door shut, hastily pulling away with their sirens blaring. We need to get to the hospital before them. DC can't expose her powers in front of people, Kevin harshly whispers. Okay, but how will we get there first? Even if we beat the ambulance, Don replies, concerned. Don't worry, I have an idea. Just let me drive. Don nods, handing him the keys. They both dash over to his crystal white car, jumping inside. Kevin slowly turns his head, smirking towards Don, as he shoves the key and sparks a clean, rumbling noise. Hold on to your balls, or you might end up having testicles for dinner. What? Kevin shouts. Kevin quickly snaps his gaze ahead and smashes the accelerator pedal, spiralling the back wheels, causing the car to charge away. Wait! Don screams out as his voice slowly drifts off into the distance. A pair of sirens blare out across an open grass terrain, with only a single road splitting its centre. Suddenly, a thundering roar wails around the countryside, followed by a mud-battered, bumperless, grungy white car as it flies over its top of a small hill, landing right outside the hospital entrance. Skidding vigorously, it stops only centimetres away from a pair of crystal-clear doors. Kevin rushes out the car's now battered and lacerated door. Come on, Don! I think we overtook them! He shouts out, bounding towards the hospital entrance. Don slowly staggers out the passenger seat, grasping tightly to his roof while constantly puffing at his cheeks. I'll be with you in a minute. Just gotta shake off the fact you drove my brand new car for a load of farmers' fields, he says, getting progressively louder and more annoyed. Oh, you're just like Lukz with your bloody cars. Come on, Kevin replies, bursting into the hospital. He quickly darts his eyes around the room and sprints over to an assistant's desk. Where is DC? He blurts out, slamming his hands down. A large, dark-toned woman slowly lifts her head towards him with an unamused expression printed across her old, leathery skin. Lifelessly, she asks, Excuse me, sir. Can you please calm down? Kevin stands there panting frantically, baffled by the woman's lack of enthusiasm. "Now, who is DC?" she asks, lazily. Kevin scrunches his face. "Sorry, brother is sort of dying and I'm a bit frantic. Dr. Darcy Charm, where is she? It's an emergency," he asks, powerfully. The woman slowly looks towards him, followed by rolling her dark brown eyes downwards. She types onto her computer, leaving a moment of awkward silence between them. Kevin starts tapping his fingers upon the desk. "I'm sort of in a rush here, please hurry up," he asks impatiently, when emergency sirens start blurting around them, followed by the glass doors flinging wide open with a pair of paramedics rushing in, a completely lifeless Lukz. A male paramedic stops the stretcher, then places 2 fingers on his neck. His heart stopped. "We have a max of 4 minutes to get it started again," he shouts over to his female companion. Kevin's eyes burst open. "Oh, hell no!" he blurts out, rushing over to the stretcher, shoulder barging both paramedics to the floor. "Sorry, lad and lass, but I want bragging rights for saving his life," Kevin says, pulling an excited smile as he looks towards a clock above him. 22:30. Okay. He grits his teeth while planting his left foot firmly into a shiny patchwork tile, then begins rapidly spiralling his legs as fast as they can go. A morbid voice calls out from behind him. "A&E, room 5. An unamused help desk worker calls out. "Thank you," Kevin shouts back as he launches Lukz and himself down a hallway with A&E department labelled in bright red. Kevin starts drifting round corner after corner, following an array of red arrows painted across the floor. His vision stays direct and focused, while his legs flail around behind him as he flies all over the place. "Move out the way!" he screams out, stampeding towards a group of people. They all immediately throw themselves against the wall, startled by Kevin's erratic speed. He takes a few more turns, then looks through an internal window to see a bright A&E sign glowing like the golden gates of heaven. Only one more turn away. He pauses, looking down towards Lukz. "Don't worry, bro. Normal people can survive without a heartbeat for about 4 minutes. But you haven't got a brain, so you'll probably have at least 10. Kevin lets out a small smirk as he grips Lux's stretcher tight, then begins dashing towards the A&E entrance. Smashing the doors wide open, everyone sat silently immediately gets surprised and turns to stare over at him. Without a second's delay, Kevin flicks his eyes around the room, searching for number 5, when he spots Darcy's long, blondie brown locks flowing behind her as she leaves her appointment room. He immediately charges towards her with Lukz still laying completely motionless. Darcy waves goodbye to her last patient, oblivious to Kevin storming towards her. She goes to close her door. "Darcy!" Kevin cries out. She quickly turns towards him as he rams the trolley into her, firing her back into her appointment room. Slamming the door behind him, Kevin locks them both inside. A startled Darcy slumps to the floor, holding onto her stomach, cringing in pain, gently weeping out. "Oh, what the bloody hell did you do that for?" He quickly turns towards her, shaking with a concoction of fear and excitement. "I'm sorry, I panicked, but look, he's dying!" His frantic voice blurts out. "What?" Darcy looks up to see a stream of blood dripping from Lux's arms. He lays completely limp. She bounds to her feet, then turns towards Kevin with her eyes burst wide open. "He's never been this wounded before." She places her fingers on his neck. "Crap! No pulse as well! We need to stop this bleeding, then restart his heart," she bellows out. Kevin nods. "Close all the blinds. We can't let people see me do this," Darcy says, pointing towards 4 windows surrounding her room. Kevin quickly rushes over to the first window, erratically pulling its cord, causing it to repel downwards, blacking out part of the room. A crowd of people start to gather and stare through them, trying to get a glimpse of what's going on. He rushes towards the other windows, yanking their cords down and releasing their individual blinds, but one jams halfway. He twists his body towards it, tugging rapidly at its cord. He yells out, "Darcy, wait, it's stuck! They can all see in!" Kevin continues pulling it vigorously. "Just do something, Kevin! I need to heal him now!" She replies, frustrated, quickly tying a tourniquet around Lux's arm. She turns towards Kevin, noticing him pulling rapidly at the jam cord, trying to tear it loose. "Kevin, do something, now!" Darcy howls out, as she begins to mystically hover her hands over Lux's flesh-pulsing wound. "Ah, shit! Kevin starts panicking, frantically looking around the room. "Ah, I need something to cover up the glass!" he yells out, glimpsing Lux's level weapons belt as Darcy flings it off his arm. He flicks his head slightly backwards, partially pulling a savvy smirk. "Oh, don't worry. I got an idea. Cover your ears!" Kevin shouts out as he pulls a cloud-smoked black revolver from the left side of his hip, tearing it from a leather-studded holster. He points it directly at the window of crowded people. "Kevin, now!" Darcy bellows out. Bang! 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 Kevin blasts 3 shots directly into the ceiling above him. Everyone outside the room screams in fear, stampeding away. He gently blows away some lingering barrel smoke, then slots it back into his hip holster while spinning towards Lukz and Darcy. "Well, I think I did my bit. Now it's your turn!" Kevin is abruptly stopped by a blinding ray of yellow light being casted from Darcy's hands. It pulses inside Lux's arm as it radiates through his entire body, lighting up the room around them. Kevin flinches, throwing his hands over his face. "Damn it, gal! You could have warned me you was going to harness the sun's light!" he blurts out. Darcy completely ignores him, cringing her fingers as she tries to pulse as much light energy as she can straight into Lux's wound as his skin starts to combine and repair at an almost impossibly fast rate. Fibres stretch out to one another, binding back together. Muscle tears begin to close up, intertwining with one another as all the damage done is reversed. Her hands suddenly fire backwards, rays of light dissipate around the room, leaving it slightly tinted a golden white. Kevin rushes over to the entrance door, flinging on the main light. Darcy and Kevin both stare towards Lukz. His immense gouge is completely sealed up, leaving only a large protruding scar where the skin has collided back together. "Quickly, grab the defibrillator off my desk, or all this will be for nothing!" Darcy unconvincingly calls out. Kevin dashes over, tossing it towards her while unclipping the case as it leaves his hands. She reaches out, grabbing both paddles in midair, then slams them onto Lux's chest. "Clear!" she yelps out. Woof! Lux's whole body shudders, shaking his metal stretcher. Darcy pulls the pads away, then twitches her gaze towards the clock. 22, 33, 59, she whispers, looking back down at Lukz as his body lays motionless. A single second takes a lifetime to pass by. The room dies of noise. Kevin and Darcy both stare at him, filling with pain and anguish, just wishing he would take a single breath. Tuck, tick, tuck. The sound of seconds flutter by, passing the 4-minute deadline. Darcy and Kevin both pause, staying fixed upon Lux's corpse. Lux's eyes flash open as he rapidly lifts his head. Darcy's face explodes with glee. "Oh, Lucas!" she calls out while jumping on top of him, squeezing him tight in her arms. "Don't you dare do that to me again!" she says, clenching his face while staring into his alluring eyes. "Are you getting fat?" he asks in a wispy tone. Her mouth gapes open. She immediately jumps off him while forcefully frowning. "A simple thank you for saving my life again would be nice," she asks in a bitter tone. Lukz sits upright, then leans forward onto his muscular arms, rolling his eyes. "Okay, thank you," he replies, unamused. She immediately spins back around with a huge smile glued to her face. Then Lukz continues, "For getting off me, because I couldn't breathe," he adds, letting out a small smirk. Darcy boils with rage, lifting her hand up, then flattening its palm. Kevin gently grabs onto her wrist. "Ha ha, very funny, bro. Now shut up and get some rest," he says, staring blankly towards him. "Okay, but one last question. Why the hell are we in an empty hospital?" Lukz asks, confused. They all stare at one another when a sudden thundering roar of propellers followed by an extremely muffled megaphone voice bellows from outside. "We have you surrounded. Put your weapons down and let the hostages go." Kevin turns to look at the others. "Great," he says in an extremely sarcastic manner. Lukz bursts out laughing. "You idiot! And they come to take Kevin!" Darcy shakes her head. "Yes, that idiot shot his gun in a hospital." Kevin plants his hand onto his face. "Hey, you said get rid of the crowd. I did exactly as you asked," he replies, aggravated. Abruptly, a SWAT team comes smashing in, grabbing Kevin and pinning him to the floor. Woo! Okay, so that was actually chapter 5 and chapter 6, but truthfully it flowed quite nicely, so I just carried on reading. Anyway, Lukz is okay. Obviously, I'm fine. But Darcy, wow, yeah? Okay, she can heal. Now, she saved my life a lot of times, okay? But to find out her true powers, you need to keep watching. And to find out, truthfully, why Kevin's bullet didn't do any damage. Again, this is why I need your help! So, subscribe, like, ring the bell, do all that, come back again, we will go through chapter 6. Mwah! Thank you very much. Goodbye, beautiful people of the world. I will see you soon. I'm falling down, darkness is the victor, demons crowd around.